Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm going to tell you the unbelievable, powerful, real-life story of David Goggins, a man who turned pain into power, fear into fuel, and weakness into pure mental strength. This story is not just about muscles, running, or Navy SEAL training. This story is about you, your pain, your struggle, your fear, your excuses, and how to destroy them with discipline and a strong mind. By the end of this biography, you will learn how a broken boy with asthma, racism, trauma, and learning disabilities transformed into one of the toughest men on the planet, how to stop making excuses, how to control your mind instead of letting your mind control you, why most people never reach their potential, and how you can break that cycle, and how to become uncommon among uncommon people. And as you listen, you'll also improve your English, your vocabulary, your listening, your understanding, and your motivation. So make sure to subscribe and join us on this powerful journey. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Faced Darkness. David Goggins was born on February 17, 1975, in Buffalo, New York. But his childhood was not normal. It was not peaceful. It was not happy. It was pure pain. He grew up in a house full of fear. His father, Goggins, owned a roller rink business. From the outside, people thought they were rich and happy. But behind closed doors, young David and his mother lived in a nightmare. His father was abusive, especially toward David's mother. He beat her, controlled her, and treated David like a slave. David had to work at the skating rink late at night, sometimes until 2 a.m., and then wake up early for school. He didn't sleep, he didn't play, and he didn't feel safe. He said, "I didn't have a childhood. I had a job and trauma." But the worst part? He wasn't allowed to talk about it. He had to smile at school. He had to act like everything was okay. Deep inside, he was scared, lost, and angry. He couldn't read well. He had a learning disability. He also had asthma, and he stuttered when he spoke. People called him stupid. They laughed at him. Teachers didn't believe in him. And soon, he stopped believing in himself. Later, David and his mother escaped from his father and moved to a small town in Indiana. But life didn't get easier. It got even harder. He was the only black kid in his school. Every single day, kids bullied him, called him the N-word, and made him feel like he didn't belong. He said, "Everywhere I went, I felt unwanted." He began to hide. He faked being sick to skip school. He became afraid of everything: tests, people, life. He was failing school. He started lying, cheating on exams, and pretending to be someone he wasn't. But deep down, he knew, this is not who I want to be. One day, David looked at himself in the mirror. Shirt off, overweight, scared, and full of self-hate. He was almost 300 pounds. He was working as a pest control man, spraying for cockroaches. Every day he woke up miserable. Every night he felt worthless. And one day, he watched a documentary about Navy SEALs, the toughest soldiers in America. He saw men jumping out of helicopters, training in freezing cold water, crawling through sand, bleeding, screaming, pushing their limits. He said to himself, "That's the kind of man I want to be. That's who I was born to be." But there was a problem. The Navy SEALs had weight limits. He had to lose more than 100 pounds in 3 months. Most people would laugh and give up. David Goggins didn't. He decided, this is war. This is my new life. He stopped eating junk. He worked out 3 times a day. When David Goggins finally entered the U.S. Navy, he had one goal in mind: become a Navy SEAL, the toughest of the tough. But becoming a SEAL isn't like a normal job. It's not just push-ups and swimming. It's pain, punishment, freezing cold water, mental torture, and hours of pure suffering. On purpose. It's called Bud S training. Basic Underwater DEMOLITION/SEAL. And inside that training, there's 1 week that breaks most men. It's called Hell Week. Let's talk about it. David entered his first SEAL training class full of fire. He had lost over 100 pounds in 3 months. He had fought his way from the darkness of abuse, racism, and obesity. But now he was standing among the strongest men in the world. And every man was being tested. Hell Week started like a nightmare. You get 4 hours of sleep in 5 days. You are pushed into the ocean again and again. You are forced to run with boats on your head. You are freezing, bleeding, tired, and broken. They scream at you nonstop. You carry logs, crawl in sand, roll in mud, and run until your feet are destroyed. It's not just to test your body, it's to break your mind. And Goggins broke. He got injured. He was pulled out of training. They told him to go home. And guess what? Most people would quit forever. Most people would say, "At least I tried." But David Goggins said, "I don't care how many times I fail. I'm not leaving until I become a SEAL. I'm not going anywhere." David healed his injuries and entered Bud S training again, with a new class. But this time, he got double pneumonia. His lungs filled with fluid. Doctors said, "You can't continue, you'll die." They pulled him out again. So now he had entered SEAL training twice and failed both times. He was embarrassed, hurt, disappointed, but he still refused to quit. He believed something that most people never believe. You are in control of your mind. Your mind is not your master. You are. Now came the third try. 3 different classes, 3 different chances. Most people would have given up long ago. But David Goggins had one rule. I will suffer, I will bleed, but I will never quit. This time, Hell Week was worse than before. And in the middle of it, his body began failing. He had stress fractures in his legs. He had shin splints and bone damage. Every step felt like his legs were breaking. Every breath was like knives in his chest. But he kept going. He taped his legs with duct tape. He peed blood. He couldn't walk straight. But he refused to ring the bell that every quitting SEAL must ring to go home. He said, "I'd rather die here than live one more day as the old version of me." After 3 hell weeks, endless pain, broken bones, sickness, and mental torture, David Goggins graduated from Bud S. He became a Navy SEAL, from a scared, overweight, bullied boy to one of the most elite warriors on Earth. But here's the real twist. That was only the beginning. He didn't just stop after becoming a SEAL. He kept going to find out how much pain the human body and mind can truly handle. He said, "I want to know what I'm truly made of. I want to know what's on the other side of suffering. I want to become more than people think is possible." David's Hell Week was not just physical. It was mental, emotional, spiritual. He teaches one lesson through his story. Most people quit at 40% of their potential. But if you keep going through the pain, you will meet a version of yourself that is stronger than you ever imagined. Pain is the path. Discipline is the weapon. Suffering is the teacher. And the other side of hell is greatness. Chapter 2. The Ultra Runner Who Beat Pain. After David Goggins became a Navy SEAL, most people would think his story was complete. He had already done the impossible. He had broken through Hell Week. He had proved the world wrong. He had become one of the toughest men alive. But for Goggins, that wasn't enough, because deep inside, he believed. There's always more. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. And he was not done. That's when he entered a new battlefield. Not war, not guns, not the Navy, but the world of ultramarathons. Extreme races where you run 100 miles, 200 miles, sometimes more through deserts, mountains, pain, and sleepless nights. And once again, David Goggins would do something no one believed possible. After becoming a SEAL, Goggins lost some of his close military friends in a helicopter crash during a mission in Afghanistan. It broke his heart. He wanted to raise money for the families of fallen soldiers. But how? He discovered a famous race called the Badwater 135. A 135-mile run across Death Valley, one of the hottest places on Earth. But there was one big problem. To even qualify for the race, he first had to complete a 100-mile race in 24 hours, and he had only 3 days to prepare. Yes, 3 days. So David showed up to a small running event in San Diego. He wasn't a runner. He didn't even have the right running shoes. He had no special training, no experience, no support team. But what he had was more powerful than all of that. A mind that refuses to quit. He started running. First 10 miles. Okay. 20 miles. Pain. 30 miles. Legs started cramping. By mile 50, his body was falling apart. His kidneys began to shut down. His feet were bleeding and covered in blisters. He couldn't stand up straight. He had broken bones in his feet. And worst of all, he had pooped in his pants because his stomach couldn't take it anymore. He had every reason to stop, but he didn't. He sat down, taped up his feet, drank a small protein shake, stood up again. And he finished all 100 miles in under 24 hours. That race didn't just damage his body, it destroyed it. He couldn't walk properly for days. His toenails fell off. His muscles were torn. Doctors warned him about permanent damage. But what did Goggins say? I found something in that pain. I found a side of me I had never seen before. That's when he realized something. Pain unlocks a door. On the other side of pain is power. If you can suffer longer than most people are willing to suffer, you can achieve what most people will never achieve. Now that he had qualified, David Goggins signed up for the Badwater 135. It's called the world's toughest foot race. 135 miles through boiling heat, 49 degrees Celsius, 120 degrees Fahrenheit, in the Death Valley Desert, running on hot black pavement. No shade, no comfort, just pure pain. Goggins didn't just finish it. He became one of the top finishers, again and again. He ran it multiple times. He ran many ultramarathons, 100-mile, 200-mile, 48-hour non-stop races, and even set a world record for the most pull-ups in 24 hours. Over 4,000. He didn't do it to win medals. He didn't do it to impress people. He did it to prove the human mind is the most powerful weapon in the world, if you can control it. Goggins has a powerful mental trick. He calls it the cookie jar. He says every time he's in pain, tired, or wants to quit, he reaches into his mental cookie jar, full of past victories. Every time he survived his abusive childhood, passed the SEAL training, ran 100 miles with broken feet, got through racism and fear, he takes one of those memories and uses it as fuel. When most people say, I can't go on, Goggins says, "I've been through worse. I can do this too." David Goggins became a superhuman not because of his body, but because of his mindset. His story teaches you this: you don't need to be special. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need motivation. What you need is discipline, self-talk, and the refusal to quit. You need to be your own hero. You need to suffer on purpose to grow. You need to do something hard every day, not because it's fun, but because it teaches you who you are. He says, suffering is the path to self-respect. When you do something that breaks your limits, you earn the right to feel proud of who you are. Chapter 3. Can't Hurt Me. His book, his lessons, his mindset. After David Goggins became a Navy SEAL, an ultra runner, a pull-up world record holder, and a symbol of mental toughness, people started asking, how are you even real? How can a person go through so much pain and not break? What's your secret? David didn't give a short answer. Instead, he gave the world a book that became a movement, a book that changed millions of lives, a book called Can't Hurt Me, Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds. But this wasn't just a story. It was a blueprint for building an unbreakable mind. Let's go deep into that blueprint, because inside it, you'll find tools that can change your life too. Truth bomb number 1. Stop lying to yourself. In the beginning of the book, David says something powerful. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Most people wake up and tell themselves, I'm tired, I'm not good enough, it's too hard, I'll start tomorrow. David calls it the path of weakness. He says, stop lying. If you're fat, say it. If you're lazy, admit it. If you're wasting your potential, look in the mirror and face it. Why? Because you cannot change what you won't face. This honesty is not to shame you. It's to free you. Truth bomb number 2. Callous your mind. You know how your hands get calluses if you lift heavy weights every day. They become harder, tougher. David says your mind works the same way. Every time you do something difficult, waking up early, running when tired, studying when it's boring, saying no to junk food, speaking even when you're scared, you build mental calluses, and over time, you become untouchable. He says, when life hits you hard, don't crumble. Use the pain to become stronger. Truth bomb number 3. The accountability mirror. When David was young, he put sticky notes on his bathroom mirror. Notes like, you're fat, lose the weight. You're dumb, study harder. You're scared, face it. It sounds harsh, but he says it saved his life. He calls it the accountability mirror. Each night, he would look into it and ask, did I do my best today? Or did I waste it? This small trick forces you to stop blaming others. No more. My parents didn't help me. School is boring. I'm not lucky like others. Only one question matters. What did you do today to change? Truth bomb number 4. The 40% rule. Goggins says, when your mind says you're done, you're only at 40% of your true limit. That means, if you think you can only run 1 mile, you can probably run 2. If you think you can't study for more than 1 hour, you can go for 3. If you feel like quitting today, you still have 60% left in your tank. He proved this rule by running ultra marathons on broken feet. You can prove it by pushing through just 1 more step every day. Truth bomb number 5. Suffering is the path to freedom. Most people run from pain. They avoid difficulty. They chase comfort. David Goggins says, That's why they're stuck. He teaches, every time you suffer, you're getting closer to your strongest self. Suffering doesn't mean hating yourself. It means choosing discipline over comfort, choosing growth over pleasure, choosing the hard road because the easy one leads nowhere. He says, the most beautiful things in life live on the other side of suffering. Truth bomb number 6. No one is coming to save you. David grew up in pain. He was abused, bullied, ignored. He had learning problems. People laughed at him. Nobody believed in him. And one day he realized the cold truth. No one is coming to save me. If I want to change my life, I have to be the one to do it. That moment changed everything. And this truth can change your life too. Stop waiting. Stop hoping someone will fix it. You must become your own hero. Can't hurt me equals can't control me. The book isn't just about pain. It's about power. When you stop fearing what people say, when you stop caring about comfort, when you stop running from pain, you become free. And when you become free, no one can hurt you. Not fear, not failure, not rejection, not the past, because you've already fought your demons and you've won. Goggins didn't write "Can't Hurt Me" to make money or become famous. He wrote it to wake people up, to say you have more. You can do more. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are the only one holding the key to your cage. This book became a global bestseller. It changed lives across countries. It started a movement of people doing hard things and becoming stronger than ever before. Not to impress others, but to prove to themselves that they were born to be more. Chapter 4. Never Finished. His second book, his legacy, and the final message to you. After Can't Hurt Me became a global bestseller, most people thought David Goggins had reached the peak. He had already survived the worst childhood, become a Navy SEAL, broken bones and run 100-mile races, completed Hell Week 3 times, inspired millions with his life story. Wasn't that enough? No, because David Goggins doesn't believe in the word enough. He believes in one simple truth. You are never finished. That truth became the title of his second book, Never Finished. Unshackle your mind and win the war within. And this chapter, the final one, is about the lessons, mindset, and legacy of a man who never stopped fighting. Because he believed you can always become more. Even after becoming famous, Goggins didn't slow down. He ran more ultra-marathons, trained harder, and pushed his limits further. But in secret, something painful was happening again. He started feeling strange pain in his chest. And after ignoring it for some time, doctors discovered a serious problem. He had a hole in his heart, a condition he had since birth, but it had gone unnoticed. This condition could have killed him. The doctors said he should have never been allowed to become a SEAL, run ultra-marathons, or do any extreme physical activity. But Goggins had already done all of it, with a broken heart. He had been fighting death without knowing it. And when they told him he would need heart surgery, did he cry? Did he panic? No. He laughed. Because once again, life had thrown pain at him, and he was ready. He had trained his mind for this moment. He said, I'm not afraid of pain. I know how to suffer. Let's go. He had heart surgery, recovered, and then went right back to training. In his second book, Never Finished, David explains something very powerful. Most people stop growing because they think, I've already done enough. I've already improved a lot. I'm better than most. But that's the trap. Goggins teaches, if you want to be great, you must understand. There is no finish line. You are not running a race. You are building a lifestyle. He says you must wake up every day with this thought. What more can I do today? That scares me, challenges me, or changes me. In Never Finished, Goggins doesn't just tell his story. He gives you tools. Here are his most powerful ideas. 1. The savage mindset. He says most people live with civilized minds. They want comfort. They avoid pain. They seek balance. But Goggins lives with a savage mindset, a warrior's mind. He says, I don't train to win races. I train to dominate my inner weakness. I train to silence the voices of fear. A savage mindset means you don't take days off when you're tired. You do hard things even when no one is watching. You train your mind to say, I can handle anything. 2. The mental lab. David created what he calls a mental lab, a place inside your brain where you study yourself. In this lab, you ask, why did I give up today? Why did I avoid that difficult conversation? Why am I still making the same excuses? Most people never do this. They distract themselves with TV, food, scrolling, and blaming. But the mental lab forces you to analyze your mind like a scientist, so you can fix what's broken. 3. Stay dangerous. Goggins says, don't aim to be peaceful. Aim to be dangerous, and choose peace. Being dangerous doesn't mean violent. It means ready. Ready to face stress, failure, pressure, discomfort, pain. He says, when life attacks, will you be the hunted or the hunter? 4. The path is always hard. Walk it anyway. He reminds us again and again. This journey is not easy. It's not fun. It's not fair, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of the pain is pride. On the other side of fear is freedom. On the other side of weakness is your true strength. David Goggins is no longer just a man. He has become a movement. He is proof that the human mind is limitless. The body is stronger than you think. Your past doesn't define you. Excuses are a choice, and pain is not the enemy. It's the door to greatness. He never wanted to be famous. He just wanted to help people realize one thing. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest. Stay hard. Stay disciplined. Stay dangerous. And never forget, you are never finished. You're reading this not just to learn about David Goggins. You're reading this because you want to change your life. So here's what he would tell you. Get up earlier than you want to. Do something hard every single day. Run toward your fear. Embrace the discomfort. Be brutally honest with yourself. Use your pain as fuel. And when your mind says, stop, say back, I'm just getting started. You are not finished. You are just beginning. If you've made it to the end of David Goggins' story, then you've already proven one thing. You are hungry for change. You want more from life. You want to grow. You want to become someone your younger self would be proud of. And now you know. You don't need to be born strong. You don't need to be born lucky. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to take that first step. You just need to decide, I will not live like this anymore. David Goggins didn't come from privilege. He came from pain, from fear, from nothing. And he turned it into power. And so can you. No matter where you are, no matter how broken you feel, no matter how far behind you think you are, you can change. You can grow. You can become unstoppable. So get up. Stop waiting. Start moving. And remember this, you are not finished. You are just getting started. And yes, you can do it. Now go and become the strongest version of yourself, because the world hasn't seen your full power yet.